Try this one more time, man. I had to get on with my cell phone. My laptop is running a little bit shoddy because my kids got on and started playing Roblox. And let me see. Settings. Man, my bad. Let me see. I'm trying to figure out how to use this from my phone. So let me see. Chat setting, post comment, private chat. Let's see. Guest. There you go. Invite guest. Copy. Quentin, can you go turn that washer off? Post chat. There you go. There you go. Cool. So if anybody wants to jump on, Iron Bear was supposed to jump on. I was kind of late because I was watching the game. Didn't want to go against the NFL, man. What's up there, Shadow Pit? What's going on, man? Yeah, no, it's the subject that we want to talk about is the missing and murdered indigenous women, the pandemic that happened on the reservation. I was trying to do it with my laptop, as you can see, and I don't know what's going on with that one. What's up? Appreciate you guys tapping in, man. Actually hit 400 today, man. 400 subscribers today, which is super cool, man. I appreciate it. The people, all y'all that tap in and see what's going on, man. Rich DM City will jump on, so we'll see what's going on. If anybody can get a hold of Iron Bear, tell him to get his butt over here and jump on the jump on the live. So yeah, this is something that happens a lot here on the reservation, you know, and it's not just women that come up missing. There's also men that come up missing, and this is a subject I wanted to bring up and shed light to. What I'm going to bring more onto the channel because this is a subject that's a thorn in everybody's side, man. It's a lot of controversy from reservation to reservation, from uh, just a lot of drama, man. A lot of murders, a lot of stuff that goes on the reservation. Like even me moving here about 6 years ago to the Yakima Nation reservation, there's been a lot of people coming up missing, like when at the restaurant that people are posting pictures of their loved ones and all these different ones, man. Um, it was it's a crazy subject. It's a sad subject actually, and you know something, you know, before um the murdered and missing indigenous women. Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, Smoky Looks design. Um, it's let's get back to when I was growing up. Okay. Oh yeah, and shout out to all you 49er fans. Uh, your team won, man. Crazy game. Sucked in the first half, but you know both teams weren't giving up any kind of yardage, man. Um, uh, I was going for the 49ers, kind of. I don't like either team, but either way. But yeah, let's go back to when I was a kid about the murdered, missing and murdered uh indigenous went missing on the Riz and they found him dead. Yeah. See, that's a lot of the stuff that goes on over here. Okay, I'm gonna go back to when I was a kid. I'm gonna explain this before hopefully um Iron Bear sees the text messages. What's up, Strange? What's up, Smokey? Rich, Shadow, everybody up in the chat. So with when I was a kid, there was a lot of murders, there was a lot of overdoses, and gradually it got into like a lot of alcoholism and drug abuse coming up. And there was a lot of prostitution going on the reservation, and I'm pretty sure there still is. But whether they're a drug addict, alcoholic, or both, you know what I mean? These are human beings that these people target, and me and my lady were talking about this. That they get targeted and they come up missing, and like Homeboy says that there's a pandemic to where it's uh, it's sad. It's happening like all over the reservations, and let's get to where I grew up at. If you don't know, there was this guy named Robert Pitkin. He was a pig farmer that was out there, and he was going. Him and his brother were going out and getting prostitutes, mostly Native American ones in the Vancouver area. So he was going out there. He was committing murders and doing whatever he does on these farms, and it was it was uh, it was crazy. Like there were so many women from that area in that district out there in Vancouver, British Columbia, that it was dangerous. And a couple of them got away, and just because they were prostitutes or drug addicts or whatever, these police weren't listening to them. If you know, they weren't acknowledging. They're like, "Hey, man, there's this guy over here at the pig farm that was trying to do this to me, but I got away." And so it comes apart to where domestic violence leads into a lot of the reservations to where it's actually almost like a norm, to where people will it's acceptable, kind of, you know what I mean? It was just like, right on, Mad Max. I appreciate you, Rich DM, spreading the word of the live. Get a hold of Iron Bear too. I know he's supposed to be on here, and he was yeah, he was going around. He killed like 50, 60 women. He was just he would feed them to his pigs, and put them in the wood chipper and all this crazy stuff, man. Robert Pitkin was definitely, it was definitely a sick situation, and the Canadian system is so lenient to where Iron Bear is on 420 time, 420 time and Indian time, man. So it's all good. It's kind of like that too. Um, yeah. So Robert Pitkin, he commits all these murders, and he's up for parole, and he's trying to get out, and he's just it's just crazy. Oh, what's up, Sea Dog? And so I go to Colorado, I move out there, and it's still happening. Like before social media, MySpace, or any of this stuff, there's just so many people coming up missing, children coming up missing, the men are coming up missing, and it's just a safe haven for murder. It is just a crazy, crazy situation to be in, to where people, like, if they're into the S trade, unfortunately, a lot of these Native American children are targeted. And coming here to the Yakama Nation reservation where I'm at now, there's over 40 people missing. I mean, that's a that's a group, that's a large number of people. 40 people missing. Some of them have been solved. Um, there's rumors on the reservation to where the Pine Ridge. Yeah, Pine Ridge is definitely a really dangerous place, man. That's why when I see when I seen Flacco on the reservation, man, I was like, man, you really got to be careful. You may know about like the San Jose area, in the prison yards out there in California, but this is there's ghetto, and then there's the reservation, and there's a lot of stuff that people know about and won't speak because it's so lawless. The corruption of the tribal police here, um, nothing goes like if there's any kind of bullying or just any kind of like intimidation to witnesses, the police don't give a shit. They're like, there's I think there's maybe like 7 tribal police here, and it's their jurisdiction, and they have so many things to deal with. That's why it's like a lawless area to where you can sell drugs, you can steal from people's houses, you steal from properties, and go to jail and get right out. And this is their jurisdiction, this is their rules. And a lot of people unfortunately get away with murder. And I was talking with the homeboy on Instagram, and was telling him, man, in just the past like 2-3 months, there's been 3 murders right here, like right in my area where I'm at, where I live. Right down the street, there was a Mexican guy that was burnt. He was killed, set on fire, burnt. And they found him. And then not too long after that, another person comes up and murdered. It's yeah, the res is more dangerous than being from the hood. It really, really is, because you're gonna have to deal with unwritten rules. Like, a lot of people don't want to talk about it, but it's that Wind River. It's been a minute since I've seen that one, but there is a lot of like I said, it's a safe haven to commit crimes. It's a place where now, unfortunately, the fentanyl is taking over a lot of people. I just posted a video of somebody trying to steal from the back of my truck. Person's a human being. He's addicted. He's homeless. He's on the streets. He's got a habit to feed. And what does he do? He's going to go out and steal, rob, kill, all this stuff, man. And and that's how it is over here. There's kids are killing each other out here. Kids are killing themselves. Kids are committing suicide. Abuse is I don't know if it died down, but that was like a big thing too. But with the Mr. Murdered Indigenous Women movement, these other movements that come into play, it's starting to shed light to what's going on, because these people are out in the streets protesting, walking, like every other day. Summertime, you're going to see a lot of them out here in the Yakima Nation just come together. Or the people, the victims, the people are still missing, and it's crazy. I mean, there's a lot of corruption and a lot of laziness of these cops. So I'm going to do a story about these 2 brothers that were one went away for like 24 years. He ended up going away to prison like 24 years. He was a kid. He went away 24 years away in the system. And this dude came out just yoked. He was, and he got out, and he got out after 24 years, started smoking, got sucked up. And then these 2 guys from California are going to a concert in Oregon or Seattle, and he just so happens to run into these guys, and so they come up missing. There's billboards, it's all over the news, it's all over a lot of stuff that's going on. Just all these, they're getting a lot of attention. The mom's not giving up, and they had, because I remember seeing the billboards. I remember hearing about it. I was like, man, and where they found the car was on the reservation. I was just like, man, I know something happened. And it's at the point of time to where I don't feel safe when I go out and hustle. And I still will. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'll still go out there, but I don't feel safe to where, my first reaction is just to give them the money. If it comes to that, it's White Swan. It's about a half hour from here. It's really lawless out there. The cops it takes them a good like 2-3 hours to get out there. Um, there's a lot of, like I said, a lot of domestic violence that doesn't get, you know, nobody wants to be known as the snitch. But it's not snitching. You got a dude that or a woman beating up on you, and it's a sick situation. And so let me get back to these two guys. And so they come up missing. They're doing a whole search thing. I believe it was about 2 years, about a year. They finally find the remains. So they find the remains of the people and the two guys from California, and they were young too, man. And so I guess these two brothers panic and they go on a murder spree. They kill like 7 people. They go out there and they go into this place, and I believe there's like 7 people in the house. They take off in a car. The car breaks down. They walk over to some guy's house, and he's working on a car. I believe he's like 19. They kill him, and then the guy comes out, and he has his son. I believe his son's like 9 years old, at gunpoint, and he's holding him, and he's telling him, I'm going to kill you, this and that. And he gets into that guy's car, and he was like, "Hey, I'm not going to do nothing to your son," but he has the father in the car, and so he goes and he kills the guy, the dad, and then the kid, the 9-year-old, jumps out, thank God, runs away, and they take off, and this is a time where it's like all over the news, like it killed like 9 people. And it's all over social media. It's all over Facebook. It's all over, because it happened during a powwow that was out here. My mom's calling nonstop, and it was weird because I never hear from my mom. I never hear, a text message or, "Hey, how you doing?" So for her to call, I was just like, "Oh wow, what's going on?" Maybe something happened back home. And she's like, "Where are you, big dummy? What you don't answer your phone." She's like, "There's a big shooting," because she made it sound like it was at the powwow, to where people were getting injured, but it was a meth house. And so the guy, the one brother, he gets they both get caught, but it wasn't for like a couple days. And it was scary because I'm right out here where they're running around, and they got homies hiding them. And you know uh and when they're on that desperation, they already got somebody for a car that doesn't even run. Oh yeah, that's another thing. The car they carjacked, that breaks down. So there, one dude, he gets caught. The other guy, he's running around for a couple days, and people are hiding him out. And and then a couple of other people that I know that come to the food truck I used to work with know these people, and they used to work at the same place, the Yakima Forest Products, and they're just it's a it's a weird situation to where it's like I said, it's lawless. Okay, so I get into arguments with people on social media on my business page, and these people, they'll like try to bully you, intimidate you, but I'm not the one to be bullied either. I'm just like, well, my hours, where I'm at. There's nothing to it. But then also got to think too that there's a lot of people that are out here, that there's a lot of unsolved homicides out here, to where it's hard for people to come forward if they're gonna, be labeled as a snitch, if they're gonna be um ostracized by the community. And it's crazy because, like, any kind of stand-ins or whatever, I know I got to live here too, but it's it's a crazy world to where over 40 people over here in the Yakima Nation are missing. And there's other stuff that goes on around here too about about the brothers, and there's two families, the same people that committed those crimes. Um, there's uh, there's other family members. The They constantly, since I've been here, they were back and forth, just like killing each other like crazy. Like another guy, he came up missing. His last name's Culps. He's missing. His body's not nowhere to be found. Another person's missing. Uh, and like I said, these two brothers, their whole family is just about that life. Just and then it's for like no reason, not making no money, just to get, I don't know, just complete psychopaths. Some of them, you know what I mean? And so the two brothers, they just now recently got convicted, and they weren't even like initially charged for like maybe 2 years, and they finally charged them. And and one guy, he gets out after 26 years. I mean, you think that, or what's he going to do when he gets out? You know what I mean? He's young. He's young enough to where you get out, he'd be like 50, 60 years old. And how he got out was confessing of killing the two guys from the concert from California. And this is the type of justice, like the court, maybe it is better, kind of, that there's street justice compared to um, justice to the courthouse, because it seems like nobody gives a shit. Like I said, I've witnessed domestic violence here, and it goes both ways. Women beating up their men, and you hear it. Sometimes they do get arrested, but what happens? They get right back together, and it's acceptable by the families. It's weird. They're like, oh well, that's just how native love is. It's like, no, it's not, dude. It's a sick situation, is all I can say about it. And so my thing is with the missing and murdered Indigenous women is that these people, they don't target people that are got regular jobs, that working all this stuff. They target the mentally ill, the drug habit lady, the drug habit dude. I mean, that's how they lure them, because they, like, if when I went to Toppenish last week, even like any other time, we go to Toppenish, and most of the people we know that are homeless are on fentanyl and zombied out in the roads, walking across the street. They don't care, about to get jumped. And it's just it's to the point to where, like, you go there, and we went to McDonald's. This guy standing in the line, and he's just like, bro, he's like, hey, roll down your window, let me get some money. That may intimidate the square, but I'm not a square. I'm not somebody. I'm already known for, you know, um, before I started the business or whatever, I was also throwing hands with people, mainly with my lady's family, because this is their function. They're on drugs. They like to party. Then their friends like to party, and they on drugs, and they come over and they steal from you. And I went out and I knocked some people out, and that's what people are knowing me for, is the fist fights. And so people stop stealing, people stop harassing my lady, people stop stealing from the family. But I know how to deal with that situation. So you have somebody that's, we're not saying this in casinos. That's what you know what's strange? I wouldn't put it past them, because that's where they come up. There's this woman who was at the casino, and that was the last place she was seen. But then also the the people that were hanging with her, they're the ones that ended up killing her. And they put her in a freezer. They didn't find her for like 11 months. The person that killed her is now dead. The person that was going to come to then that's another thing too. Okay, so that person comes up dead, the one that killed her. So that female was found out on the side of the road out in White Swan, where I go set up my food truck. They find the body over there, and then and then after that, the person that was going to come forward, I guess he caught a case, and he was going to testify. And then he was like, you know what, just send me to jail. I don't want to testify against this. I don't want to testify against any of these people. They're crazy. They're going to get me. And then, sure enough, they're like, no, you're going to court. And then not only that, they put them on blast in the newspaper. Oh, so and so, this person is going to go to court and testify. The next thing you know, I'm at work. This is like right when I started watching Gunner and all these people, and I'm at work because I remember this. I think I even have it on my Facebook. I'm at work and I see this huge engulfed flame, and I can see it like around the area where my cousin hangs out because I dropped her off at that location. And I see this flame. I call my cousin. I'm like, hey, I'm glad you answered the phone. I just seen that place you hang out is on fire. She's like, oh, no way. Well, I hope everybody got out. And everybody, and I'm cruised by. I go by go by, and the fire's out, but there's nothing left of this huge building. And they and then usually they'll dip out, like the firemen will put it out. And it was it was the cops are there because I went back to work. This is working at the Yakima Forest Products, and I go back over. I'm cruising through at night, and I see him sitting there. And I come cruising back in the morning time. I was working the graveyard shift, cruising back, and the cops are still there. So I pull over, got my hustle game on. This is when I was just selling breakfast burritos. So like, hey man, I got some breakfast burritos, 2 for 1. I sell the cop because they were about to go to waste anyways, and the cop was like, hey man, yeah, let me get a couple of those. I'm gonna be here all day. I'm like, oh man, what's going on with the fire? Like, nothing. And then come to find out, the streets start talking. People are telling me about, man, it was this dude that the person they put on the fucking on the hey, what's up there, Dirty 30? Crusted. Oh, snap. Look at all these people coming in, man. I appreciate you. So they so they find there like a little bit of remains. I think it was like a couple teeth or something. I can't teeth or it was something little to where they could identify the guy. So yeah, he ended up getting killed. He set on fire, and that's the end of it. It's a cold trail. There's nobody left to words out who did it. And just like how they say, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. And it's it's a scary subject. It's a scary situation. So when it comes to the reservation here, I'm pretty sure the reservations over, like he was talking about, Rosebud out there in South Dakota, North Dakota, New Mexico, out there, everybody has their guidelines, everybody has their drama, and everybody has their situations. And because I know it's not just here, and I know it's not just the Native Americans, but it seems that when it comes to that, we're swept under the rug because the people they do target are drug addicts, are homeless, the men, the women, and it's crazy to hear all this stuff and to live through all this stuff because unfortunately I had a family member that happened to. And I love this person. I still do, and it breaks my heart to even think about it. But she's in the quiet hunting grounds, and it's it's no, I wouldn't say the organizations of AIM get targeted. They're more political than they are, but they do get targeted. They are considered as like a terrorist group for some reason. I don't know, because I support AIM, and they are anti-government and anti-establishment, and just any kind of any kind any kind of, like when they did the no dapple, they were there. You know, what there's any kind of injustices, any kind of wrongdoings, AIM's going to be there, and they're going to have the natives back. And they have a lot of they're trying to keep stuff safe too, but there's only so much you can do without becoming a monster and have to go stop these people. And that's what it seems like, that these people are just, because I know the people they're talking about. I see them around town. They come to my restaurant. Those two brothers, they used to come to the bar I used to work at. These are people we live with side by side. These are family members. My lady's, family that that we love and care about, and they're going through their own situations, and it just seems so tight-lipped when it comes to crimes being committed. You know. Oh, Gangish, hop on, homie. Let me drop the link. My bad, I forgot to tag Gangish that I was coming on too, because I tagged him about. I really like his input. He's a really knowledgeable person when it comes to news coverage, and out there in Colorado they have it too, out in the southern. Yeah, man. Yeah, AIM. Yeah, my uncle's part of AIM too. He's in the Canadian chapter of it. But I always admired people like that, and I always looked up to my uncle that was going out to Oklahoma City and going all these places and protest, and any type of injustice, they are there. Any kind of like logging, like any kind of stuff that it has to do with like corporate greed of like overfishing, overhunting, just trying to be, protect water rights. You know what I mean? Dang. Yeah, dude. That's the type of stuff that AIM will get involved in too. Strange, but yeah, that's definitely a situation that has to, you know, is subjects that has to come to light, and even if it's the ugly truth, like what I'm telling you guys, because nobody wants to hear something like that. They want to hear about the college kid that had a whole future, that had, that's more dramatic. That gets people's attention, not the alcoholic drug addict that got kidnapped and murdered, tortured, and taken away from the family, wasn't given a second chance at life, if there was ever a second chance. They're just like, and is it a racist system? I believe so. I don't know if it's more racist or more uh what is that called? What status or whatever, to where, rich, poor, it's hop on, gangish, if you're not busy. But it's a sad situation to where I'm gonna bring more cases, bring more stuff, do more short videos on the situations here in Yakima alone. Like I'll start like for for instance, I remember out there in Colorado, this guy, he killed his brother, and he was on the reservation. No, he wasn't on the reservation because he was in state. He killed his brother, and the state was just like, oh, 7 years. You know what I mean? They gave him 7 years. I got into prison, and he got out. He might have been there when Gangish was there, because he was in Buena Vista. He was hanging around with Kelvin Yellowhair. I think he was a little Navajo. No, he's a little Ute. He was a Southern Ute. Um, but yeah, he killed his brother, and he ended up getting out. And I'm sitting there for selling drugs, and they asked, "Who's your victim?" Yeah, I know that I did a lot of damage, but like, who's your victim? I was, I don't have no victims. Like, oh, well, you didn't pay your taxes. Yeah, that'd be cool too. Crusted's still in here. Jump on. Anybody, if anybody wants to jump on, let's get it cracking. Because most of the points out, I'm starting to point out and getting to the point to where it's it's to where they don't feel sorry for the alcoholic drunk or the homeless drunk or you know, and it's uh it's crazy. Oh, Gangish is in Denver. I lived in Pueblo. Denver or Lakewood, or he's out there in northern Colorado. I was in southern Colorado. Um, but there's another subject too. There's this little 4-year-old who came up missing named Lucian, and when he came up missing, man, he came up missing at a park here in Yakima that is known for just a bunch of like activities. There's a bunch of like I said, like prostitution, drugs. This little Lucian, he came up missing, and they just had a birthday party for him about 3 months ago, and he came up missing at the park, and when I first heard about it, I thought about the parents. It was just like, man, maybe the stepdad had something to do with it, you know. Um, but then also, I believe they have video of the kid walking away, and nobody carried him away, and he was actually there at the park. So I was like, man, well, maybe he's just making up this, just thinking of all this stuff. But either way, I remember I couldn't sleep for like 3 days when that came out because, I'm obviously close with my kids, and like any parent, it was just I couldn't imagine something like that. And they heard that he was in a bunker with the homeless person, and they're out searching. My buddy from Baca, the biker group, Bikers Against Child Abuse, he was out searching. Had the whole community out there searching. They're under the water looking for him, and just had thought of the worst of it. And they have, and while they were searching, they did find an underground bunker, and they found like a bunch of weird stuff in there too. It had like a propane thing for a warmer, electricity, I believe electricity, but it was just a weird underground bunker. And the dad was pissed. He was like, I told you guys, this is the rumors I heard about the whole situation. And then, and then I think it was like last week, they found the remains of the kid, the 4-year-old child in the river just up the street from here, like on the other side of town. They found the remains there. Then they found the remains uh, of a woman that came out missing 24 years ago, and just identified her out here in the Yakima Nation area. And yeah, exactly. Strictly, you know, some people may not look at it that way. Um, like it's an awareness. Like, what can you do to protect somebody that's, you know what I mean? That's out there putting himself in the public in harm's way, and it sucks, dude. Because when I do see homeless women, and I'm talking about like little kids, like 15, 16-year-old kids out there homeless, and and the women, the children, like the women that are out there and the children that are out there, and they got their backpacks, they're just out there drinking. Because I see it every day when I go into town. I see it every day. It's about for a small town like this, there's about maybe there's like a whole crew of these people that are in this situation. And it's sad because you part of you wants to help and like stay there and make sure nothing happens to him, but then it's like, I don't know, man, it's hard to say. And it's because a big part of me wants to stay and help, and it's at the point to where I don't even want to pick up hitchhikers no more. I don't want to help somebody. And oh yeah, that's another thing too. Just like 3 days ago, 4 days ago, people were acting like they were broken down and came out with a crowbar and smashed the window out and tried to attacking the woman right there. And there was like about three, four of them that were doing that in this van. And it's they they got away. They ran over one of them, but they got away. And then also the people that were trying to do it, they got away too. So, like I said, the reservation is a dangerous place. And when I was trying to convey that to Flacco, when I see him on there, I text him right away, like, man, get the fuck out of there, dude. Like, it's I know he's got friends and stuff on there, and but it's like, man, you need to get out of there, especially if I'm not safe on there and a white person to come on the reservation. Um, it's definitely not a safe environment. And I was just like, man, I dig Flacco. You know what I mean? I dig all you guys. I don't want to see anybody get got. And it's. Thank you, Daniel Gonzalez. You haven't seen Hitchhikers in years, man. Holy Raymond, do you want to jump on, brother? I got Eagle Horse, 400 pound count. I was just telling about the pandemic that's going on over here. I don't know if you're here the whole time, but yeah, it was. If Eagle Horse wants to jump on, Eagle Horse is a Lakota brother, and I give a big shout out to you and your people, man. It's your way of life that saved my life while I was in prison. It's your sweat lodges, your ceremonies, your your um your way of life, man. It really saved my life, man. And get in touch with the roots. I may not be Lakota, brother, but I respect and honor your ways, and I still practice them. I still go to Sweat. I haven't been to Sweat in a long time. I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna probably go this weekend, this Sunday. Next Sunday, I'm gonna go because wash day. Yeah, and yeah, I have great admiration for the Great Spirit through being able to connect with him through Sweat Lodge, through the Inipi and the pipe ceremonies, and just the simple facts of being able to burn a little bit of sage, protect my family, protect my house, um, protect you guys. And if you guys are unfamiliar, hey, Kimmel's Flicks, I appreciate you tapping in. Man, your videos you make, dude, are cool. Even though they're funny, um, your digital skills and everything that you do, man. Um, wish I was able to hire you for like an editor. Mine would be just like about this kind of stuff. Not really into the drama scene, but yeah, I appreciate your skills, man. Yeah, yeah, the Chanupa. There you go, the Chanupa. That's what it. Yeah, um, man, I haven't sang in a long time either. Um, it's yeah, I went through a lot. Yeah, it was the Native Brothers on the Yard that got me away from the gangs and got me away from just brought me back to my roots, just brought me back to where I'm supposed to be. I tried church. I tried. I'm a born, or what is it? Not born. What is it called? Baptized Catholic when I was a kid, but I've never. I don't know. Just couldn't agree with what was being told to me. I don't think anybody should be in fear of death or fear of judgment. You know, but I don't want to get into a whole religious talk, but that's a whole game changer of having that. But yeah, this is. I mean, if you guys want to come on, hey doctor, what's going on? But yeah, I'm at 400 subscribers, and I appreciate that, man. That's super cool. I know, like I said, I'm not the most entertaining guy, but I do have a voice and I do have a subject to bring up that not too many people talk about on this platform. And most of it, I'm going to start bringing up the subjects and the topics of this area of how these crimes affect my family. They affect other people's family. Affects all these people that we're dealing with, and and a lot of it has. I'll tell you about like a lot of the other stuff. No, I didn't do time in California. I was in Colorado, bro. I'm a Colorado boy. Um, um, no, but if I got caught out there, what I was doing when we were going out to Southern California to pick up them things, and yeah, I would have been. Actually, I would have been in the feds. Oh, you're trying to come on? My bad, my bad. Oh, nice. There's Sea Dog here too. My bad. I didn't even see that. Let me see. Add to stream. Let's see. What's up? Let's add. There you
What
go.
up, mate? What it do, mate?
What's going on? What's up with my brothers?
All right,
My
all right.
bad, Sea Dog. Were you there for a minute?
Yeah, I was there for a little bit.
Oh, I'm so sorry, dude. I'm on my phone. I don't know because I was trying to do it on my laptop and see what's going on, man. But yeah, this is Raymond. He's definitely I was bringing. I don't know if you were. How long were you on the live for there, Raymond?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, I just barely tapped in, probably like maybe 5 minutes ago.
Oh, okay. I was just bringing up the pandemic that's affecting our area and the Yakima Nation area for our tribe. And for those who don't know your story that you just tapped on, he's for the missing and murdered Indigenous women and people because of a crime that happened to his family. So if you want to explain, break down to the viewers of your situation.
All right. Back in 2016, you see, I'm originally from Northern California, from Merced County, city of Las Vegas. I'm a ex gangbanger. Um, I have three prison numbers, one in Arizona and two in California, and I just decided to start living right. And in 2016, my sister, my older sister, was kidnapped, and she was tortured, and she was, brutally, I don't know if we can say it on here, unalived. And that
I
that
think you're
that
allowed to say S assault.
oh,
Yeah.
but through that, I decided to you know do everything I could to help catch the killers and raise awareness. I didn't know that this epidemic was going on. I knew at that time that if you had a certain lifestyle, I knew that if you were promiscuous, I knew if you were a drug addict, I knew if you had a background, if you're a gangbanger or whatnot, that there'd be a lot of victim blaming and that nobody really cared. I didn't know about the epidemic happening on the reservation where our women were being murdered until it happened to my sister. And my sister just wasn't killed; she was tortured over $500, and that's my big sister. And I didn't know what to do at the time because, like I said, I'm my ex drug dealer, I'm my ex gangbanger. I just got out of prison, and this is a community that I helped destroy over here in Arizona and on the reservation. And I didn't think anybody would help me. I mean, who am I to ask for help? And so I started. Me and my sisters and my wife. My wife's a detention officer, and we started printing our own reward posters. We started taking to social media, We blew up every single page we could. Online yard sales, any site that would allow us to upload a picture and a brief story. We violated all the guidelines to almost all the online groups. Just to get her picture out there, because as you know, as an ex-convict, I know we know that time is of the essence. I mean, you got to get right on it. When the FBI came and showed us a picture of my sister to confirm her body, they told me to go inside and to mourn with my family, and I didn't have that in me at the moment. And the Bible talks about it. The Bible talks about there's a season to mourn, there's a season for everything, and it wasn't my season. And when they told me to go in and mourn with my family, you know, I was just knowing that someone did that to my sister. I was like, let's go get these guys. And it was a struggle with me because I wanted to kick in doors. I wanted to pull the guns out. I wanted to go back to the old me. And I got on my knees and I was begging God. I was begging God, you know, if I'm honorable, help me. And he did. And we posted everywhere. We ended up on radio stations. We ended up on ABC News. The more police told my family to be quiet, the more louder we got. And that's what they want you to do. They want you to rely on them so they can quietly be swept under the rug. The reason why our women are being murdered and no one doing anything about it is because, you know, law enforcement tries to convince you to, you know, let them handle it. You know, trust us, we're doing this, we're doing that. And nobody knows what's going on. If they don't have the same kind of passion and love for the loved one as much as you do. And my sister was a drug addict. My sister was homeless. She slept from house to house. She was beautiful, and we already knew that if we allowed them to, that they would sweep it in the rug. And so we got louder. We got louder.
Hey, real quick, do you have another device open, because people are saying there's a lot of echo?
No, I don't.
No? Is anybody else in the house watching? No?
Oh, hold on. Is it still echoing?
Is it still echoing, everybody? Hit a 1 if it's not.
No?
No?
But yeah, we got on. Is it good?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. Yeah. So we end up getting on the ABC News. We paid the local newspaper in the neighboring towns to print her story. I mean, we're just anything and everything we could do, and the community got behind us. And not only that, I got on the phone and I started calling neighboring reservations. I called Morongo Reservation in Banning. I don't even know why I called them. I just called them and I told them I need help. My sister was murdered, and so they listened and they put me on the phone to an advocate named Patricia Reynoso. And then I called up to Fort Yuma, and I told them the same thing. Hey, I need help. My sister was murdered. And so they sent somebody. Then I called you. I just started calling all the neighboring reservations. And so we decided to put together a community march to raise awareness. And people from all around, there was more people from other reservations that showed up than there was people from the town. And we raised awareness at that night, and at the same time, I don't know if you know Pamela Foster. She's the mother of Ashlyn Mike, a little girl up in Navajo Nation who was kidnapped. Her and her brother Ian were kidnapped, and she was, she was, and they did something to her, and the little brother got away and ran. But when the little brother went to go get help, it was too late for his sister, and that happened the same time as what happened to my sister. And so I see through social media the mother, Pamela Foster, fighting her fight for her little girl. She went all the way to Congress and got the Indian country amber alert put in place. And so
Nice.
when she was fighting, we were fighting. So while we were fighting, we had both murderers were caught, and they both received the max, and they both went before the first federal judge, native federal judge. I think her name is Judge Shimitiwa, and she's the first native woman appointed to the federal court, and she sentenced them both to the max. And then we could have stopped right then and there and went home with their victory, but it wasn't even months later that I got a call in the middle of the night, and it was another family saying, "Hey, we need your help. We can't find our loved one," and they told me something I'm putting out there, and sure enough, they found her body in a field with her eye missing, half her hand missing, in a shallow grave. And same thing, the police, they told the police that she was missing, something was wrong. And the police were like, "Nah, she probably just don't want to be found." And when they did find her, they ruled it a overdose. And that's what it's how can she dig her and put herself in a shallow grave? What happened to her eyes? And so that year, that wasn't even a year after what happened to my sister. And so we had another community march, and we started a grassroots group called Stand Strong Together, where every December now we march. It's going on 7 years now that we march through Parker, raising awareness against drugs, violence, and for murdered and missing Indigenous people. And throughout the years, more and more women, right in the middle of town, a woman named Rosie Romero, she was found in a shallow grave, beaten to death. And my cousin Albert was just gunned down this last December. His killer got away with it. It's an epidemic. But through us doing these marches and through me speaking out, I was also invited into California to Project 911 out of Thermal, California, with Sarah Sanchez. It's a nonprofit agency that targets the teens, the native teens in the residential schools, because they have a high rate of suicide. So they asked me and my wife to help with the anti-suicide. So we help with Project 911. I went out. I go out to Crossroads Mission out in Yuma, and I'm the guest speaker. I end the 2-day event over there. I give my testimony, and I do the gang, drug, and violence prevention. And through it, and I think it was 2019, President Trump signed an executive order, the first task force to investigate the MMIW phenomenon in the United States. It's called Operation Lady Justice. And while the pandemic was on, because I always and during the pandemic we couldn't go to conventions and speak, so we were doing Zoom meetings, and so they were always getting in contact with other agencies that represent MMIW from all over the place, and they asked me to sit on a panel, and when I sat on the panel, because I just do whatever I can to help raise awareness, and while I'm sitting on the panel, I had no idea that it was for Operation Lady Justice. I got to sit on a panel to create the first handbook, and my sister's story is told, and she's part of Operation Lady Justice, the presidential. That's awesome, dude. And then all this, mind you, like I said, I'm a ex-convict, ex-gangbanger, ex-drug dealer. But through raising awareness and fighting for people, made it all the way without even knowing it to the presidential task force. Um, and all that is not through me. I mean, I would love to take credit for all that. All of that comes from God. And my wife, she, like I said, she's a detention officer for 16 years. She stood beside me tough, and she helped hold me up, gave me the resources I need. My sister, my mom, because I'm the only boy. I got three sisters, and
Yeah.
it was hard. It was hard because they were broken. I mean, they humiliated my older sister, but
Yeah.
we when we buried her, like I said, it'd be so easy for us as a family to take our victory and just go home and let everybody else deal with theirs. But just hearing about it happen over and over, it lights a fire in you. And while I sat on a panel for Operation Lady Justice, I got to hear other advocates and other workers from other reservations talk about what happens on their reservation. On one reservation, they busted a van. This van had a prostitute unconscious laid in there with a drip line with fentanyl going into her. So she was zombied out, and the pimp was outside collecting money, and people would just go in there and do what they
Oh
want.
man.
They had a drip line on her, and they busted them on another reservation. This reservation, the tribes owned a truck stop, and they found out that it was tribal cops that were running a human trafficking ring through the truck stops. On another reservation, they arrested the investigator because a woman went missing years before that, and they never found out what happened to her. What happened was the detective found out his nephew murdered his girlfriend, and so he covered it up. So they ended up arresting the investigator and his nephew for the murder of this girl. I mean, the things that are happening on the reservations all around the United States is crazy. And
That is.
when all the advocates get together, it almost becomes a cop bashing party. I mean, because when you listen to everybody's story, I even got to hear the stories from the advocates from Canada, from the Kamloops school, when they found the first bodies of the first 217 children. Man,
Yeah.
it's heartbreaking. But going on like podcast, when I went up to Rapid City to speak at an MMIW convention, and when I got there, I don't know if you remember the water fighters.
Yeah. The no dapple.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You remember when the feds they had the water hose and they were shooting them down. They were water hosing
Yeah. When it's sub-degree weather.
well, and over there they had in prison, like in Corcoran, they have towers that scramble your cell phones, so you can't use a cell phone unless you have a code, right? Well,
Dang. Dang.
to make sure that nobody was going live and getting what was really happening out there to the Native brothers and sisters, the water fighters. They had drones flying over the river, over the fields where they were fighting, and they were scrambling everybody's phones, and nobody could get out the information. And as you know, the water fighters went to prison. Well, there's a group in Rapid City, and they're from the LGBT movement. They call them Two Spirits.
Yeah. Yeah.
They have like over 100 stories of lesbians and gays that are just being murdered left and right out there, and the police refuse to investigate. They call it a good kill. And when I was at the convention, these two ladies, these two sisters, they were frustrated, and they were asking me. They said, we're really happy to hear your story. We're glad that you got the word out. How did you do it? They said, we cannot get our stories out beyond the borders of Rapid City. And I looked at them and I said, you know what? I said, you ever thought about a podcast? And they just looked at me with this blank stare. And I told them, yeah, I go on Frank's Positive Vibes. And I said, it's a prison genre. I said, but the word gets out. And there, right then and there, you can see the wheels moving. They're like, oh my God. And then I told them, you can start a video library of you said you have 100 cases that nobody will listen to. I told them, build a video library and leave it there.
Yeah.
And so we're in the process of doing that. I was going to do a channel myself, but I can't commit to a YouTube channel. I'm just all over the place, work, family, conventions and stuff. You know what I mean? It's like I wouldn't have the time to do it.
Yeah, I hear you. Man, you should document it though and upload it, like you said, start a library and get more of your stories because you're more in depth. You got more. I'm just an outsider from the, missing and murdered Indigenous. The victim of my family happened like back in the 90s. And I was talking about how in Canada, before missing and murdered Indigenous women, there was a fucking sick dude named Robert Pitkin in Vancouver, Canada, that was owned a pig farm, and most of his victims were Native American women, and he was doing that stuff to him too, and feeding him to his pigs, cannibalism, all kinds of and then when they went in there, they found all these purses, and I believe there was like 2 victims that got away and went to them and told them, hey, look, there's a guy on the loose that's doing this, and they're like, he was trying to torture me, he was trying to kill me, like, whatever. As a native prostitute, drug addict, who cares? You know what I mean? And then I'm really grateful that you came on tonight, and I'm really grateful for everything that you're doing, and that your sister's name's going to live on, coming on to, legislator and all this stuff that you're going to, the Capitol, and people are getting aware of it. Like, it's because of people like you and all these other thousands of people that are a part of missing and murdered Indigenous women, and supporters like me that knows what goes on the reservations. And I'm in the same shoes as you. I've been to prison. I've been shot. I've been, I drug dealing. I was out there doing the damn thing too. But I was just explaining to homeboy in the chat, it was the sweat lodges, the Lakota people that saved my life, their way of life. You know what I mean? I go to sweat lodge, pipe ceremonies, the songs, the roots, and it was just, because for somebody that's been through traumatic, like if you grew up on the reservation, you grew up through traumatic situations, and you deal with a lot of stuff, and the things I dealt with, I started venting through crimes, and then crimes just come getting worse and worse, to point to where I was numb to the whole, like, that line anymore. So now I'm back and representing for my people, my family. First Native American restaurant, I shut it down and back to the food truck, but that's a whole, being the first one to come out and do that out here in this area, man, I really don't care. I don't look at it as a failure. I'm looking at it as a learning point. You know what I mean? And like how, I don't know can you read the chats? M-Star Media, especially minorities. And let's see, they've got a few questions in here. This is, let me see, M-Star. And yeah, you horses, what the fuck, that's grimy. But that's, and the crazy thing is me and my lady were talking about how that highway, missing women highway, do you know which one I'm talking about out there in like Alberta or something like that? Like where the truckers and stuff go. There's me and my lady were talking about that, of like how you were just saying that cops may be involved with the Native women coming up missing in that area. And these are like high school kids. These are like 13, 14, 15-year-olds that aren't drug addicts. You know what I mean? Yeah. And they're coming up missing in Canada like crazy. And it's they're like, oh, just run away. No, dude, something happened. You know what I mean? And usually, when I ran away, I came back a couple days later. I was like, oh, I thought I was grown, but I'm coming back home. You know what I mean? So, yeah. But yeah, and I had a couple other people asking. Let me see. Smoky Lokes Design says AIM needs to go on the rise and do what they do. So, what do you think the solution to that is? Because I was explaining about how I feel bad. Like I see it every day when I go through the reservation, when I'm leaving the reservation and coming in. I see women, children, men strung out on that stuff. And it's to the point where I just uploaded a video of somebody that was going to come try to steal something out of the back of my truck because I was taking stuff out of my storage. And I had my rims and had all this stuff on the back of it. And he came up and he was getting ready to put his hand in there until he seen me turn around and look at him, and he's like, oh, and he just walked away. And then that's when I recorded. I was like, I was here for 3 minutes, and somebody was, I didn't get out and confront him. I was just like, it's just somebody that's messed up. You know what I mean? And if you guys got any questions, post them and I'll put them up. So I seen somebody was asking what res you were at in Arizona.
And the Colorado River Indian Tribes, Parker, between Lake Havasu City and Blythe.
Okay. Then Rich DM was asking, Raymond, have you ever worked with the San Jose Native American Heritage Company?
No.
No. Let me see. It says, why don't people on the res just get a group together like the old times?
They try to. They try
I
to,
believe
but
so too.
it's crazy. Believe it or not, there's natives. Like a majority of the people that are fighting are women. All you see are women that are fighting. Women are fighting. The men, I think that for the men, because they struggle with, I don't want to be called a rat or narc or Captain Sableho, this and that. They shame the men out of protecting the women. It's really our job as men to protect the women, and the enemy's doing a good job at shaming men from doing it. And then on top of that, because the laws are so lenient for drug offenses on the reservation, that the cartels and the mafia, they purposely target homies that are half native, that have enrollment numbers, because the difference between state, you get caught with the ounce of crystal meth in state, you face a felony, and maybe, you know what I mean, you get caught with the ounce on the reservation, nothing will happen to you, because the feds, they want crimes against the United States. They don't want drug dealers. They want drug lords. They don't want gang leaders. They want gang leaders. They want illegal entries. They want bank robbers. So they don't. It's state prison that gets all the gangbangers, all the stabbers, the shooters. Yeah, the gladiator schools in state. The federal prison is for more for the bigger crimes, the crimes against the United States. And so, if you're half native, or if you're full blooded native, and you're a homie, and you'll be used, and unknowing to you, like with me, I didn't even know this was going on until it happened to my sister. But you'll come to the reservation and you'll be pushing that dope, and you'll be pushing politics, and you have no idea that you're enslaving your own people. We're the downfall of our tribes. We're supposed to be protecting the woman, but yet they'll put a chip on our shoulder, send us here with a little bit of money and some dope, and there we go. You know what I mean? And then women are being murdered left and right, and nobody ever notices until it happens to them, and it's happening more and more in this day and age. In this day and age, if they got statistics for gang members, they got statistics for people who write with their left hands, they got statistics for deadbeat dads that don't pay their child support. But in this day and age, they don't even have a number. Nobody even kept count of how many Native women were missing on the reservations until the executive order was signed in 2019, and now they're finding, there nobody knows the number because there's a lot of there's a lot of women that just got swept under the rug.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
it is crazy, and it's sad because we did, like anything that we have, like I don't think we're taken serious in the limelight. You know,
No,
there's the media. I remember. How old are you?
me, I'm 45.
Yeah, we're about the same age. Do you remember people of color weren't even shown coming up missing on the media back in the 80s, 90s? It was, the John Benet Ramsey and
Yeah,
stuff like that. It's like how much that happens in the barrio and the reservations, like and then it was just like nothing was ever shown
you
about
remember
us.
baby Jessica when she fell down the well? How it was
Yeah,
just world news that
yeah,
the little white girl was stuck down the bottom of a well.
yeah.
No, but over 2,000 bodies of children, native children in Canada, have just been unearthed on the residential schools, and they're not doing nothing about it.
No, they're not. And
It's crazy.
I seen somebody say about that. They were like, well, back in that time, kids were, dying of, the cough, whooping cough, and all the, whatever. But at least have the human decency to be like, whatever happened, let the parents bury them in a good way, in our traditional way. And I appreciate you on Fire Ministries. This is a really good guy. Tapping in on his channel. This guy right here, Raymond. He and his whole church saved us from being homeless. At that time, we were living in the restaurant. We didn't have a home. We didn't have, and him and his whole church. And it was weird because, okay, check this out. Sea Dog, he said a prayer. He's like, hey, God bless Lucky Loco and his family, his business. I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it. He's like, let the God's people hear. Did you hear the story? And what's going on? And then, at that time I was hurting, I was depressed. I was like, I don't need prayers. I need money to get my family out of this restaurant. And the next thing you know, it was like a week later, uh, John on over here on Fire Ministries, his whole church came and got something, just bought the whole place out basically. And then right before that, two other church groups came in and bought like all kinds of stuff, and then they just continued to support. And I was like, oh man, that was like, because it was at the point where I was making like about 150 a day, and I had a staff to pay. I was just like, oh man, this is bad. And it got us out of that whole rut. And then the people on YouTube were helping too. They were like, hey man, here's they're donating. OC, all these people were donating to help, because I being on here for a while and get to know all these people and hang out over this thing over YouTube and become friends, like real life friends, even though we don't ever, I can't get in it. No, I guess I could get in the car and go to California, but I need gas money. You know what I mean? But I am going to be coming to California. All these people came together and really pushed and really helped out me and my family. I will never ever forget that, bro, ever in my life.
That's
It's
awesome.
yeah, it is. I may be a spiritual native, bro, but I don't go against the church or Muslims or Buddhists, or you know what I mean. I just don't. If you're not, I don't have that mindset to where, oh well, you should be practicing your ways. You shouldn't be going to church. No, I'm like, if it changes somebody, if God, has that touch in your life, who am I to say that's wrong? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like when it comes to two-spirited, who am I to say, oh well, you shouldn't be doing that with that same,
Yeah.
I'm over here living my life, and if they're happy, I'm happy. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
but it was
That's good. Yeah. I actually have my testimony on a 4-part, and it's the last part is the spiritual realm. If you said your church are on here?
Yeah, the right here, because I go on his lives. I go to his church because he invites me. I'm not going to tell him no, but if I'm super
Yeah,
busy, I can't make it. So on
yeah.
Fire Ministries, and they pray for
On
me.
Fire
Uh,
Ministries.
they made me cry with the prayers, and you know what I mean. It was just like the whole machismo type of stuff. Like,
Oh yeah,
all goes out the window. That's you know what I mean. That whole exterior, they all been through the same stuff we've been through. That whole church, like I've been to churches, even Native American churches, where you feel judged. You know what I mean?
oh
And
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
That's good. On Fire Ministries, huh?
yeah. Check
Yeah.
them out, man.
All right, I'll do that. Like I said, I got my testimony on my page. It's the same thing, Raymond Meza. Um, the name of the video is it just says Las Vegas gangs, prison, and witchcraft, and it just tells my story of growing up in Northern California. You know, being basically being prejudiced against because I was Native, and then coming up here. Well, I'm half Mexican, half Native, and over there, you know, they judge me for being Native. I come to the reservation, then the natives judge me for being Mexican. So what I mean, it's like it was never
Yeah.
easy, and
Oh yeah.
I always felt like I was a outcast. And when I went to prison, you know, I just stepped it up a little, but ultimately, I ended up having a spiritual encounter in prison, and it was intense, and that's what led me. That's why I said I would like to take credit for everything that's happened, but it's something that God, you know, it's because I told God yes. He asked me a question, and I said yes, and he rolled out he created a path, and he says, "Don't look to the left or right, just go forward." And man, character assassinated, all that. I mean, you name
Yeah.
it. They threw everything to seek at me. But when they bring up my past, I use it as power because they'll sit there and say, he shot at me, he stabbed me, he did this, he did that, and I'll sit there and I'll laugh and I'll be like, yes, I did. And they'll even bring up things I forgot, and I'll be like, man, I was lost, huh? And they're like, yes, how can you sit up there and I tell them, even someone is lost and somebody as dangerous as me could be saved by Christ. You know what I mean? So when they throw my past at me, I accept it. I accept my past, and I tell them, you see, the fact that Christ could help me, he could help anybody, and you're never too far gone. And so
Yeah.
that doesn't work with people anymore. They stop throwing my past, and now now the thing is, you claim to be a Christian and you help the two spirit. Well, yeah, because that's what the Father tells us to do. Tells us to help our neighbors, our brothers and our sisters, to love each other. That if you hate your brother in your mind, then you've already killed them, and the love of God ain't in you. So we can't have hate in us. I mean, we can hate things but we can't sin. Like me, I hate the whole the MMIW, MMIP movement. I hate what happens to our people. I hate when our women are tortured. I can't stand the thought of any of them being there and being alone at those moments. But will I pick up a gun and do something about it? No. Instead, like I said, I got on my knees and I made a covenant with God. I said, if I'm honorable in this, will you help me? And He did. I mean, it's awesome what He does. But
Yeah.
I also get criticized. Like I notice when I go out to speak on other reservations that it's a really touchy subject, tradition and faith. And like if I gotta watch who I praise Jesus to in front of, because I might praise Jesus in front of the wrong people, and I'll get attacked and say, how can you worship the God of the oppressor? And so sometimes I'll go in there and I'll say the Creator. You know what I mean? creator because I have to show love. I have to speak with love, and I have to, to be careful not to offend my brothers and my sisters.
Yeah. And that was another video I'm going to upload too. Is a story about the racism on the reservation. Like you said, if like I'm not even full blood, bro. My great grandpa, no, my grandfather is white. So my dad's half white. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And but I know the stigma of being half Native American and half something else, to where natives will be racist towards that person, even beat the shit out of them. You know what I mean? And it's messed up, and it's not just like as a kid. Even as you grow up, even at your age, you probably still feel that, like that snare and look. You know what I mean? That snare and look when you go to gather. It's like, here you know what I mean? It's just like, I don't know why some people think that they're so righteous and so ignorant towards
because I'm from Northern California. At a council meeting, they told me that they referred to me as the outsider when I wasn't there, and I was like, man, you know what I mean? So it's like, wow. Yeah. Never mind that I got the same blood running through my veins as you. But you know what I mean? The fact that I was born over there, that makes me less Indian.
Yeah, right. I mean, and then it's crazy. It's crazy. I know people make fun of people that are only like a little tiny bit Native American, and they embrace it, and they start, you know what I mean, learning of the culture, and people look at them like, oh, why are you asking me this? And they'll tell you, hey, look, I just found out I'm part Native, and I want to know who this, and then it's just like, and people try to dog on them about that. It's like, man, take that, embrace that. Like, in the prison system, they were trying to act like white people couldn't come sweat. They were acting like black people couldn't come sweat. They acted like double spirited couldn't come sweat. And it's just like, why are you bringing all these politics into a sacred ceremony and turn it into the prison politics, which is crazy. I mean, understand, not eating at a table with somebody or with a certain group of people, but when it comes to, if I have a friend that was in there, and he was in the church, and every single time he invited me, I would go with him. And then I asked him, I was like, he was an older dude too. He's been in there for about a good maybe 28 years. And I asked him, I was like, hey man, how come you keep inviting me to church, man? He goes, because I really like you. He's like, you're a really good person, and I want your soul to be saved. I want you to go to heaven. You need to go to heaven. He's like, you're a really good guy. And, I let him speak his truth. I was like, I appreciate that, dude. You know what I mean? I really do appreciate that. Oh, we got Flacco up in here.
Flacco?
Yeah, we got Flacco up in here. Do you want to jump on, Flacco? Let's see. But yeah, it was like a lot of the stuff you just gotta. If I feel sorry for the people that can't see past their nose, like there's more to it than just like this is our culture. I understand, but when people want to learn it, I don't shy away from them. I don't tell them like the real, because every tribe has that secrecy of our beliefs, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, oh yeah, which Flacco made a joke about being called Cool Arrow. It got his Indian name Cool Arrow. Got what's up there, Uncle Flacco?
What's up with it, man?
Nothing. Just over here politicking with Raymond. We're talking about the missing and murdered Indigenous women movement.
Indigenous women movement? That's scary.
It is. Yeah. It is. And I don't know if you heard his story or not, but his sister was a victim of the crimes on the reservation, and that's how he got into it.
I am blind. Another Indigenous woman.
Another Indigenous woman. But yeah, there was
They're all over here.
like you said, when it comes to people that other tribes, like, oh yeah, that's another thing too. Is just because we're Native American doesn't mean that we get along either. Like, people have that misconception.
I know that because I know a lot of people from like the Tohono tribe, fucking the Yaquis, Navajo, Apaches, and some of them have fun with each other.
Yeah,
Some of them
they
are
do.
allies.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
they do. Like the Navajos and the Zunis and the Pueblos don't get along.
Yeah.
No, then there's like there's five different Apaches. There's what the
Yeah.
Mescalero, White Mountain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know a little bit, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like the Samoans and the Tongans.
Yeah, look alike, but you know, same. It's just
But a lot of the Yaquis I know are mixed out here, though.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
You know,
I went to jail out in Arizona. I was being extradited from Washington State to Colorado, and they put me in fucking Geronimo jail, bro. And I got in there, and I thought I was a big dude, like, you know. And I get in there, and they have these fucking Apaches in there, bro, mean looking, tatted, prison tats and shit on their faces.
they're Crips and Blood, huh?
Yeah, they're Crips and Bloods, and they come up and they have he comes up and he's like, "Hey, what tribe you from, bro?" And I tell him, "Yeah, I'm Pakwachin First Nation." And he's like, "Can you speak your language?" And I was like, "No." And they started speaking their language and laughing around, and I was like, "Oh, this motherfucker."
I got a point. It's a warrior society. You know what I'm saying? You heard of them?
Warrior side, yeah, the prison,
yeah. He was telling me that in there that they'd be going at it with the Dina, or with, you know what I mean?
The Dene.
The Dina.
Yeah, that is true. The Warrior Society.
Oh, hey, what tribe's the other homeboy from?
Me?
What tribe are you, Raymond?
I'm from Colorado River Indian tribe. I'm Mojave and half Paiute from Urington.
He's from Northern California too.
Was that right? That's right.
Yeah, I'm from Los Banos.
We're Cali, up in here, man.
Central Valley.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if all Native women are like that, but I think the ones that are like from New Mexico, Arizona, they're crazy.
Yeah, there's. Yeah, man. Yeah, so we're just chopping it up, talking about that, man, bringing awareness of the crimes that go on out here. And there's a couple videos I'm going to upload about the situations out here, the unsolved crimes. You know what I mean? And we were just talking about how people don't want to come forward if they know about it. Like you said, they don't want to have that stigma, snitch, and you know, all this stuff.
It's not just that. It's because look, I have two people I talked to that are fully Native, right? And they told me that a lot of times it's based upon because they like to keep things in house. They like their business to be quiet.
Yeah.
You know, they don't like it to put it out there. Like, you know, when you say something happens, like something bad in the household, like that shouldn't happen, like a cousin touches a cousin, you know, they want to deal with it on their own. You know what I'm saying? Whereas fucking, you know, it's just different. I mean, like bad shit happens, man. I be out there the most craziest ones that there is sometimes, man. And it's just fucking, it's wild out there, man. I get told to put my hood on real quick and shit when I'm out there.
Oh shit. Man, I know. I texted you as soon as I seen you going on the res, bro. I was just talking about that earlier in the live. I was like, man, I was like, you need to be careful out in the res, bro. There's the ghetto, there's the barrio, then there's the res. And the res is just lawless, bro. And the cops ain't gonna give a shit. We're just talking about
I thought I ran into Ponch for fucking chips when I was out there. Then there was one that was like 6'10". I looked at him. I said, "Who the fuck are you that tall, man?"
Must have been Navajo.
Dude, I was trying.
You hear echo?
Man, I was like trying to get out of there so fast, man. You know what I mean? Before that day even came, because I just know that they were gonna like come at me like, "Oh, I took you to jail for criminal trespass and shit." Fuck, you guys won't hear from me for 2 years. You know what I mean? They may take me and throw me on the other side of the border with no ID and shit. You know what I mean? Fuck, man. You know, but it's all good though, man. I'm gonna go live in a little bit. You know, I just wanted to tap in and let you know I send my support, man.
Ryan, I appreciate that video you sent for me. I'm at 400 subscribers now.
That's right. Let's get you to 1,000.
Yeah, hit 1,000.
I can. I'm in the garage. It's an echo because I'm in the garage, bro.
They say fix bad echo.
Echo Blanco. All right, I gotta hit the wife before I get beat up.
All right, for sure. All right, appreciate you, Flacco. You have a good night. I'll tap in on you live.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, man. So what you got planned? What are you guys going to be doing this summer? What kind of activities you got planned for your movement?
We wanted to go into the project and start like watching movies. Like we got a projector with like 100 foot or 100 screen. We wanted to like hand out free hot dogs, popcorn, information packets. You know what I mean? Because inside the Indian housing projects, if we don't get there and let them know what's going on, I mean, somebody else is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then inside
What
the project,
do you think that we could do about our youth? Because over here, there's nothing for youth. There's no teen center. There's no.
I was just talking to my wife about this. I told her, I said, I got this idea because you know how Mr. Capone is getting at Frank and told Frank, you know, hey, if you know any artists, send my way.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of, I guess, what they call them SoundCloud and Instagram singers and rappers and artists. I was gonna put together a letter and I was gonna present it to the tribal council, and I was gonna tell them, "Hey, how much you guys trust me? You know what I mean? You trust me with $30,000?" Because I was gonna pick a building out and I was gonna buy some equipment, recording equipment and stuff. I was gonna use like maybe 10,000 of it to put as a prize. Like, look, give you guys 5 minutes. 5 minutes, no words, you know what I mean? And show me what you got, and start getting, you know what I mean? Gives an incentive because they want to sing. They all got talent, you know what I mean? And they show you now. This thing with TikTok and all that stuff. You can see everybody's got some type of talent.
Yeah.
If you can get them to just focus it on something that's, you know, like the movement. You can keep them away from that. You can instill into them. While we got social media, they can hear stories of what happens to other, you know, people their age and everything like that. That way, they can learn more soon than what we learned. We had to go to prison to learn a lot of this stuff. These kids, they can learn it quick. You know what I mean? If we do it positive, we do it right. It's like, look, man, we've already went down that road. I can tell you everything that's down it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But give them some prizes. You know, 10,000. You know, our studio equipment and stuff like that. Just
because
because
we're breaking barriers in the culture, bro. We're seeing Native American movies. We're seeing Native American series, like top of the line stuff. And you know, we got a Native American chef on the Chef Ramsay show that won. You know what I mean? I seen Chef Ramsay eat an Indian taco, and he was just like, "Oh man, what kind of bread is this?" And how did she make this so quick? And, you know, me breaking into the food and beverage world, and I'll definitely it may take a year or so, but I'd definitely like to link up and help support too. You know, bring my food truck to where you're at, and you know,
that'd be awesome.
Because we need something for the youth, because if all they see is their older cousins gang banging, drug dealing, drug using, what did we do? We went drug dealing, we went gang bang. There's no place to hide from there's no place to hide from the abuse. Like if you have an alcoholic or drug addict parents that are, you know, physically or mentally abusive, there's no go-to place if because a lot of this stuff does get swept under the rug, and it really not just missing the murdered Indigenous women. A lot of the teens are taking their own lives, and
Yeah.
a lot of them are. It's a sad. It's there was a little boy. He was about maybe 14 years old when I was living at the other place, and he the ambulance came. He hung himself. You know what I mean? And then another kid hung himself too, not too long after that. And a lot of this, like, I wish we had, because growing up, to be honest, man, there was teen centers. There was a place I can go to go, like you say, go. There may not be food at the house, but they had, like you said, hot dogs, hamburgers over at this teen center to go hang out with the homeboys and to go meet women or kids, just other things. Go listen to music, play the Sega Genesis, pool, and all this other cool stuff. And it was like every weekend, we'd go to the teen center. And the kids don't have that here. On this reservation, they don't. There's nothing for kids here. They have a skate park that some kids go to. There's no, like, any kind of interaction with the community.
Yeah.
It's all everyone that's in the high seats, like the councilman, the general counsel, and talk about corruption. That's another place too. So if something happens, they want to sweep it under the rug too. Oh, we can't have that blemish our community or have that come back to us. And they just got caught, indicted, and voted back into fucking office for the second time, getting caught, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's my son. He's just texting me from county jail. He's fighting a life case. You know what I mean? He did allegedly a robbery, kidnap, and drive by, and that's another story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's no go-to place. There's no safe place, because man, when you're out in the res and you see it, bro. You see those malnourished kids, the parents that sell their food stamps or commodities. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They need a safe place to fail because they're not going to get it right the first time. You know what I mean? So a safe place to fail is a good start. And sometimes you got to get them away from the environment they're at.
Yeah.
Give them purpose.
And just to have that little place to go to, because that was my go-to place of coming up with physical abuse, mental abuse, not being even given a shit about. Like, I remember taking off for a couple of days and coming home. Oh, you're bad. Like, usually, with my kids, I'm like, hey, where you going? What's up? I'm super, super overprotective. Hey, where they at? What's going on? It's different. I wish there was a teen center and a safe haven for a situation like that, because there's got to be something other than group homes. And like, what's the name DMX say on that Slippin' song? He's like, they're preparing my ass for jail. Coming up in group homes and institutions are just preparing my ass for jail. And it's true. Like, if this is over in New Zealand, they got a crazy gang tribal thing going on, and they're just locking them up and deporting gang members. Dang. That's some other indigenous crew too, you know what I mean? The New Zealand, the Australians, and it's crazy.
No.
But I appreciate everything that you do for the community, man. I'm prayers to your broken heart and your family's broken heart, man, because it's I know the wounds will never close for you, but you learn to live with that pain, and it's something that we have to get up. Like you said, there's a time to mourn, and there's time to get on. And I know your sister's proud of you. I'm proud of you. All the people that are out here supporting the missing and murdered Indigenous movement are proud of you. We're, for all the brothers and sisters that are out there representing their lost family member, their lost children. It's a platform like this that we need to when you got time, brother, just hit me up and we can,
Yeah.
go over the basics. Let me, when you got just that little bit of 45 minutes, be more than happy to get at me. Frank have your phone number?
Yeah, he does.
Okay, I'll send him mine and tell him to send it to you. And whenever
Alright.
you want to give me the heads up and come on, brother. I mean, because I'm going to be interviewing a few other people like Buggins Malone, a Native American rapper, Savell the Native. Going to be interviewing him. And you know who I'm trying to get a hold of is that Lightfoot. Remember Lightfoot,
Yeah.
the rapper? He's over here in Washington State, man. And it's it'd be cool to wrap it up with the talk with the OG rapper. You know what I mean? Now it's our Kid Frost. I still love Kid Frost. I'm still down for
Yeah.
an opera. You know what I mean? But it's
Man, broke my heart when Night Owl passed away. Shoot, man.
oh yeah, that was nuts. Night Owl and Tito B that day. Yeah, Night Owl and Tito B. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lightfoot. Yeah, I watch his channel now. He's a little bit older than us, but you see his he talks about like the whole thing. My whole channel is just bringing light to the alcoholism, the experience I had dealing with. I posted a video of surviving the survivors of boarding school.
Yeah.
That's because it's embarrassing, but it also gets it out there, it gets off your chest. It's something I didn't even really talk about. I told my lady about it, and that's the only person I told. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna upload a video of the physical abuse and mental abuse that you do go through from somebody that survived boarding school. That's an alcoholic, and we try to build a relationship, me and my mother, but it's not. It's more of a friend than. But I'm still appreciate her. I still love her. Even though she don't feel the same for me. And but I have a family now. And when I was explaining this to another person in prison, and he seen how upset I was, and he was like, you know what? They taught you a lot. They taught you how not to treat your children, how not to treat your stepchildren if you ever get them. Don't ever make them feel that they're not as important as your kid, because the kids will feel that, and people will feel. So, yeah, so I really appreciate you coming on and your team. Man, there was the first half. I didn't know what to think. You know what I mean? That was a crazy game. I'm a Broncos fan, so I'm not even the same division as you guys. We're still the Western Division, but it was a good game. You guys pulled it off, and I'm sorry, I hate the Cowboys. So. Sorry, there, Timo. I know that's your team. We're going back and forth, but as long as I don't hate them like how I hate the Raiders and KC. So. It's all fun and games. I'm not too involved into to where I'll fight somebody over because they hate my team. Whatever. They don't pay me to put this jersey on. They don't pay. All right, there, Raymond. Well, I really appreciate you coming in, man. We've been going on about an hour and 48 minutes. I appreciate you tapping in, brother, and I appreciate you guys coming on, man. This is a really big subject that we should bring up more about. And if you want to share your channel, you know what I mean, have people sub to your channel. I know I'm not going to do this as a career. I'm just doing this as a push for my business, the awareness. You know what I mean? And if it takes off, I'm going to, people are on the journey of watching me go from food truck to restaurant, back to food truck, to saving up to get a newer food truck. And then I'm going to California. I told Rich, I told everybody I'm going to California, whether I have a food truck or not. I'll do a pop-up event,
Yeah.
Pop up a tent. I got portable deep fryer, portable griddle, portable warmer. And as long as you got a Walmart by you, where Walmart's everywhere by the reservations.
Oh.
The traditional spot for Native Americans, Walmart. Or Dollar General. I'll go on there and go get some food and go hustle, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my channel is just my name, Raymond Meza on YouTube, and you can subscribe to that or go to Facebook, think Raymond Meza. I got another page called Together, which just um has a bunch of information about MMIW and MMIW.
Okay. Does anybody on the wrench? Anybody in here have a wrench so we can post this channel real quick before we end this live?
A wrench.
Yeah. The ones with the blades on here to whack out the trolls. That's pretty cool. I don't think I have a troll yet, but I know they're
No.
probably out there. But then, what are they going to tell me? The things I already don't know. I'm not claiming to be a bad gangster or anything like that. My message is totally different than anybody else.
Yeah.
All my information's out there. You can look up my name, see my business. That's the whole thing is putting down. It's his name, Raymond Meza. Send a hammer. I'll do that on the when I do the live on the other than StreamYard.
Yeah. I have the other co-founder of the group, Katrina. I'll give her your number. As soon as you give the number to Frank to send to me, I'll have her call you because she also
Okay,
likes
I'll look for you on Facebook too. Are we friends on Facebook?
I think we are.
Okay.
We might be.
Okay, because I could just send it through Facebook too. I'll look you up on there.
All right.
All right, man. And yeah, I'll share one of your videos on my page. So if you guys want to check out his stories, man, you know, it's crazy how similar our stories are alike. You know what I mean? To where totally changed and we're doing something. Oh, somebody just posted it right there. Appreciate you, Rich. And you know, it's about networking. It's about putting out that energy and just putting out that energy and getting the right type of people to come around. You know, if I was still active, I'd be locked up or dead. You know what I mean? I already got shot. I already got stabbed. I already went to prison. What else do I got to do, man? I'm not down no more. I don't give a shit. I don't have nothing.
Yeah.
Call me what you want. And I'm over here with my family. I'm free. I'm doing a business. I'm going to be venturing off. I'll come hang out with you. Go, you know what I mean? We'll go feed these. You know what I mean? We'll get something going and we'll go feed these kids. We got to, you know, if we could link up with other people to come and get this story out there, because I want something for the youth other than foster homes and group homes, and to have an opportunity to understand, you know, there may be a fight here and there. It's fights. You know what I mean? There might be a legal standpoint on it, but there needs to be some type of place to be safe for these kids. We need a safe haven for them because you know, it's just getting to those kids so they don't have to be. I am hungry myself and I want a double cheeseburger and fries. The real Triple OG. What's going on, man? Appreciate you tapping in, brother. And I appreciate your videos. Have you ever watched Triple OG's videos?
Me?
Yeah.
No, actually I haven't. I just surfing through YouTube for the past like half a year, just for everybody to talk about him.
Yeah, he's man. If it's the same Triple OG, he's the one who helped too with the pushing to save the restaurant, and you know they're donated to, you know, to keep us going and keep us from living in the restaurant too. So that's like, what anybody else feels about him, I don't have nothing to say bad to say about him. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna. Yeah. So.
Is that the same one that like wears the mask and?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yuppa. Oh, darling.
Yeah.
Check this
No,
out.
I've never seen nothing bad. I've never seen nothing bad
here. He's scamming the raza. But that's he goes against people. I watch your channels, and I got no. I'm just somebody who's staying out the mix. I don't want that drama. I don't want to say F this dude or F that dude. And if somebody says F me, I'm just here on YouTube just trying to.
That's what I told Frank. I said, Frank, I'm not no game street superstar or anything like that. I mean, a couple of prison numbers, had my experiences, and had my spiritual experiences.
Yeah, most definitely.
I never said I would have a YouTube channel. Because all I wanted to do was give my testimony. I wanted to,
keep pushing it, man, because this is a platform. This is an area where everybody needs to know about it. There's people, I'm pretty sure where Sea Dog's at. You ever watch his channel? I'm pretty sure there's a lot of crazy shit that goes on out there in Tijuana too. You know what I mean? It's that'd be a good platform. Maybe the next week, Sea Dog, if you want to, and we could bring up whatever subject you want to that you feel safe talking about. I don't want to get you in any kind of trouble out there, or if any kind of stories you want to talk about that goes on out in TJ too, because that's our southern cousins. They're indigenous too. You know what I mean? Just like how you know what I mean. So
yeah.
Well, I appreciate you there, Triple OG. I'll sub to your channel as soon as I get off of here. Yeah. So yeah, it's like I said, it's a subject I'd like to do maybe part 2, part 3. Just bring up, shoot the shit. Because there's a lot of people overseas that are curious about Native Americans too. You know what I mean? We're not dead. We're not. You know what I mean? We're still here. We're still thriving. And we got a couple people. Crescent 13 just subscribed. Sea Dog just subscribed. Yeah, you got a few. See, get on there just when you can. Just upload a video because I'm busy all the time too, bro. And it's what's up, brother? Sorry. Tomorrow 7 p.m. Yeah, we could. Do you want to jump on Frank's too tomorrow? You got time tomorrow, Raymond?
I'll try to.
Yeah. Yeah. 7 o'clock.
This one.
Yeah, man. I appreciate it. Yeah. Yeah, I get off work around 6 o'clock. Before 6. But sometimes I sell out at 3 from the food truck and I just come home. You know what I mean? So, so just come home and then but yeah, I'm gonna tell more stories about the area, the Riz, and if you want to chop it up and give me some stories to talk about too, I'd be more than happy to do that too.
Oh yeah.
All right, man.
All right.
Well, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you, Raymond, tapping in. Super dope of you. I appreciate you guys coming through. And there's more subjects if you want to check it out, man. There's Raymond's channel, and we're gonna start bringing up more stuff. I'll give more leads about the missing and murdered Indigenous women, the movement, how you can donate to Raymond's cause, and because it's independently, right? You have to pay for the signs, you have to pay for the flyers, and if we can help the brother out and like a fundraiser or something for him and his movement, because I know the flyers and everything's not cheap. The gas isn't cheap to go out there to go bring awareness, because I did see the live on Frank's video of them out there doing the walk. And bringing awareness, and he needs and if we can do something, we could set something up and get, even if I can, like maybe every Friday I can put like a portion of the sales towards you at my food truck to help you in your movement. I know there's missing and murdered Indigenous women here in Yakima, but they got it unlocked. You know what I mean? So I'll just start helping you in your area, and let's get something networking to where we can do some fundraising, man, because because I know your story needs to get out there, and I know, like I said, it's those signs and everything's not free.
Yeah.
And well, God bless you, brother, and God bless you guys in the chat, man.
Yeah, God bless.
And, yeah. Yeah, so I appreciate it, man. You guys have a good one. On Fire Ministries, John. I'll text you later, brother. That's another thing. I'm gonna have to go. If he's having a church thing, I'm gonna go. I feel the Holy Spirit coming on. I can go hang out with him. He's an awesome dude, man. Check out his channel. If you guys can post a link of On Fire Ministries too. I can post it too later. But he's from the same background too, gang member, drug dealer, and he's a preacher now. Him and his wife, his mother-in-law, his whole crew. His homeboys Leviticus is a Christian rapper. You got to check out his. I'll send a link to his video. I'm going to do a story on him too because his music is just crazy. You wouldn't think it's Christian music, but it's pretty cool, man.
All right.
Yeah. All right, you guys. I appreciate you. God bless you. Wash day and have yourself a great day. And I'm gonna burn some sage and definitely prayers. I love you, Raymond, and your cause, everything you do. I'm praying for your broken heart and your family, bro.
Thank you.
Take
Good
care.
night.
Yeah, you have a good night, you guys. Have a good one.